As you can hear, it goes always like that. It never ever gets old. They always want a piece of that bread. Yeah, hello there. Welcome once more to Contro's Kitchen. And if this is your first time stopping by, I would like to say a very warm welcome to you. It's still Vlogmas. Welcome to day 7. It's bread day over here. I make bread for my children once at least every week. So today is the day that I need to make bread. And this video is dedicated to Chica Okereke. Chica, finally I'm here doing this for you. She's been asking me forever to put an updated bread recipe here, but I promised her I will as soon as I change my KitchenAid. I still use this one behind me, but it's faulty. I just did not want to use it in a video. So I got myself an early Christmas present and got a new one. So this is more of an unboxing as well as making bread. And I'm going to tell you one reason why I make bread for my family once a week. Basically for my children, okay? So let's do this first.
Delicious, yeah, delicious, delicious, yeah, delicious, delicious.
I know you might be wondering, but yes, a KitchenAid is worth that much to me that I'll get another one. So my other KitchenAid has been faulty for a while. It's been giving me a lot of stress. I pretty much have to go like this, you know, use my weight to keep it down, which is not good, it's not safe. But I've had it for 6 years, almost 7 years, and in the time that I had it, I used it a lot for commercial. I used to make cakes for people on order and stuff like that, meat pie. So I pretty much have had my money's worth, and I really knew I had to get another one, but I just wanted to wait till Black Friday to get this, and I'm excited to have a change. In the meantime, I'm going to take this old one to KitchenAid. We'll see if customer care can support me in that regard and see if it can be fixed. Because it wouldn't really hurt to have a backup. I use that one at least once a week, sometimes every single day when I used to make orders. So having an extra one will help me be fast anyway. So it doesn't hurt to get this, but I had to wait for Black Friday. So today we are going to make bread. So I have all my ingredients here. As I said in my vanilla video, and anybody that follows me on Instagram knows I make bread that frequently. So I get everything in bulk. This is my sugar, this is my bread flour. I buy all my flours in bulk, so I buy this for bread, and I also buy all-purpose flour. Sometimes when I'm out of this, I use all-purpose flour because that's what I used to use. In my recipe that is here already, I used all-purpose flour. But thanks to Nanaba's Kitchen, of course. Thanks to Nanaba's Kitchen, I got to know that using bread flour saves you a lot of time. You really don't need to double rise your dough when you use bread flour because it's lighter, it has a lot of gluten, so it actually just rises faster. I have here some nutmeg. I have vanilla extract. This is going to be the last time I'm using store-bought vanilla extract because once this is finished, I have my homemade one that is there getting ripe and ready. I have some yeast that I buy in bulk as well, so it comes like this in a double pack. One is in here now, and this is an extra. These two will last me pretty much a whole year. I have some salt. So let's get started. So normally when I make bread, I make 4 loaves at a time for my family, and that is what I'm going to do. So for the 4 loaves, I use like 1.25 cups of sugar. So that is what I've measured in here. And I'm going to measure 10 cups of bread flour. If you're trying to make 2 loaves or a loaf, you just have to divide everything by, 2 if you're making 2 loaves, or by 4 if you're making just a loaf. I just go like this. So I'm going to add my yeast. This is active dry yeast. To make the 4 loaves, I need 4.5 tablespoons. So I'm going to add a teaspoon now. And then the half is in here as well. For your perfect Ghanaian sugar bread, or any Ghanaian bread mostly, you have to go big on your nutmeg. So my nutmeg here, I added a heaped tablespoon. So I have here some salt. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. If you are using unsalted butter, you need 3 teaspoons. But my butter is salted, so I'm just going to use 2 to balance it out. Be mindful that I didn't mix my salt with the yeast. The sugar is already on the bottom. This is how I normally make my bread. I don't soak the yeast to let it rise first in water before I pour it over. I just mix everything together and it works out. So I'm mixing it now. I do it this way because I'm making 4 loaves. That's 10 cups of flour, and my KitchenAid will not be able to accommodate everything. So I do it here, mix it until I make the dough, and then I split it in 2 so I can use the KitchenAid to really knead and stretch it out, make it a nice consistency before I proceed. But of course, if you are making just 2 loaves, you can go ahead and use your KitchenAid right away. So now that my dry ingredients have been mixed, I'm going to add my butter. The good thing about homemade is you get to regulate your ingredients and you can put in the very best. And of course, you can be making the very best without this Kerrygold. This is an 8-ounce pack. That is 8 ounces of Kerrygold. If you are using the sticks, it will be 2 sticks. In my previous video, I used half a stick for 2 loaves. But now I use 1 stick for 2 loaves. It's richer, it's better. It's homemade bread, okay? So you want it to taste and feel like home. Our dry ingredients is well mixed now. Let's focus on the wet ingredients. So I have here 3 cups of water. This is warm water, not hot, warm, a little bit hotter than lukewarm as well. And I'm going to add ½ cup of milk to that. So I'm just going to watch here until I get to 3½ cups. Pretty much there. To that, I'm going to add some vanilla extract. I always like to shake it because it settles on the bottom. Otherwise, you want to have a bit of all that goodness in your bread. So do shake it before you use it. I'm going to add about 4 teaspoons in here. You want your bread to taste good if you can. It's homemade after all. It has to taste like home and feel like home. My kids just love mommy's bread. And I know that one day when they leave home, or when they are a lot older and you ask them one of their favorite childhood memories, they are most likely going to say homemade bread by mommy, okay? And that warms my heart so much. Now we're just going to stir in our wet ingredients. I'm going to try to make a little well here. And just gradually pour about half in first. And mix. Now I'm going to add the other half.
Tasty. Delicious.
So at this point, I'm going to split this into 2 and knead it. I've washed my mixer bowl. It's new. Of course, you want to wash it before you use it. So I've washed it, wiped it dry. And now let's get ready to knead our bread. Oh, yes, this is where I hire the services of a lawyer. You want to knead this for about 5 minutes or until your dough becomes very stretchy and elastic, very smooth. Notice how everything, all the dough is clinging to the hook. Pretty much the sides of the bowl is clean. That is how you want your dough to be. A perfect dough should be like this. It should all cling to the hook and you shouldn't have a whole lot of a mess of dough all around your bowl. My dough is perfect now. I'm going to turn it off. so we can knead the other half. Just look at that. See how it's just clinging to the hook and just dripping off now? You want your dough to come out looking this way. That is perfection. Just bring it out, just like this. See how elastic and stretchy this is? Okay, let me just go ahead and stretch the other half and then we'll work with this a little bit. This is where you need all the muscles. So you burn some and you put in some, okay? To get a very nice texture, I just go slam it a few times on my board, just like this. Dough becomes very stretchy at this point. Beautiful. And then you just want to shape it into a ball. Perfect ball. Just about this much. I'm going to set it aside just to make room for the other one. In the meantime, I'm going to cover this one. So we are going to do the same with the other part, the second half of our dough. Just making room here on my table. And you do the same slamming process. So get it into a nice, beautiful dough. Try to make a ball. I'm going to cover both now and let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to shape them into my loaf pans. So in the meantime, let's get our loaf pans ready. Remember the batter wrapping? Because I let it sit at room temperature, it has a little bit still stuck in here. I'm going to use that first. So then I'm going to dust a little bit of flour in here and just shake it. Try to move it around until your whole pan is covered with flour. And then you just discard the rest that is in there. Alternatively, you can use this. Makes things a little faster and easier, okay? So I'm going to just spray. So it already has like batter and flour mixture. I'm going to do the same with all my other ones. It's been about 10 minutes, so it's time for us to shape our dough and put it in the loaf pan. So this is really where the big difference in using red flour and all-purpose flour lies. With all-purpose flour, you need to rise your dough for about an hour or until it doubles in size. This, as you can see, pretty much did not do much of any swelling or rising, but it's bread flour and your bread is still going to come out so perfect. But like I said, if all-purpose flour is all that you have, then you just let it rise for that hour and then you continue. Everything else will be the same after you rise it. So I'm going to place this first one right here into this one that I put the flour in, just like that. Set it aside and make this one too. So all you're trying to do is to tack your dough. I went to a baker once in Ghana and tried to learn how to do this. The technique is so much you really have to make sure that your bread is rolled tightly. I really can't do that. I do it this way all the time. It still comes out good. So if you just want to have a nice shape, pretty much, don't stress too much over the dough. Trust me. Your bread will still be perfect. I'm going to put this one right here. It's always going to be the sieve side, which is this part, going down. You want the smooth part to be the actual presentation part of your loaf. So always the seam side down, just like that. Set this aside. I'll do the same for these other two.
Delicious, yeah, delicious, da-da. Delicious, yeah, delicious, da-da-da. Delicious, delicious, da-da. Delicious, yeah, delicious. Can you smell the aroma, yeah? From Kwachiwa's kitchen, yeah. Delicious, yeah, delicious, delicious, yeah.
I want to just put these out on the tray, and I'm going to cover them all with cling film. Meanwhile, I have my oven on warm, just on warm. So warm is 170 degrees. And I'm going to turn it off and then just let these sit in there for the hour. During the hot summer days, I would just take this outside and sit it out there and let the heat do its magic on it and rise it. But it's really not that hot anymore, so I can do that. So the oven works perfectly. Or any warm place, you can even put it in your microwave, but chances are that you will need your microwave before the hour is up.
Delicious. Delicious. Can you smell the aroma? Yeah.
So I have a damp kitchen towel here. I actually just wet it and then squeezed it out, and I'm going to use that to cover my bread. Cling film first before you put the damp cloth. So always that extra loaf that won't fit on my tray, I just cover it separately. So here we go. So I've turned off my oven. It's no more at warm, and I'm just going to set my whole tray here, as well as this one right here to rise for an hour. It's been like an hour now. Our bread has risen and ready to be baked. So this is how our loaves are looking. Perfect. You want your bread to rise up to about this much, so your loaves come out perfect when you bake it. This one obviously is not going to fill it because this loaf pan is bigger, so this is about how much it will rise. I always set a bowl of water in my oven, just like that. That is going to make sure your bread is not dry. It makes the bread come out perfect. So whilst the oven is warming up, this is going to sit in there. So I'm going to take the film off my loaves. And get it ready for the oven. It is almost warmed up. Oven is ready at 350 degrees. I'm going to bake the bread. Taking them off the tray just so I can spread them out.
Delicious, yeah, delicious, delicious, yeah, delicious.
always want to bake on the very middle rack. So I'm going to set my timer for 27 minutes. Bread is done and ready to come out of the oven. Just look at how perfect. Bring them out of the loaf pan. Tapping it always helps to get your beautiful loaf. Just like that. This loaf went to the very warmest part of the oven, so normally the one that goes to that side always comes out looking a little bit browner. It is still perfect. Sometimes if I'm more mindful and I rotate my loaves about 20 minutes through the cooking time, everything comes out looking perfect. You see, the next three are all very evenly cooked. In order for great ventilation under my loaf, I'm going to transfer them onto a cooling rack so the bottom part does not get wet. Delicious. Delicious. I'm going to set it here on my board and cover it. So you want to cover with a clean kitchen napkin, or two in my case, because I have more than 2 loaves, so I always probably use 2 or more. And then when we come back, we'll see how this went. So we're back. We were gone for quite a long time, so the bread has had all the time to cool off. Let's see. Yay! Kids are back from school, excited to try this out. And yes, let's see what they say about this. So normally, I put my bread in this bag. I get this from Walmart. It's a perfect size for them. So I'm going to bag the 3 smaller ones, and then we'll cut into this one because it's always hard for them to fit in this bag. Delicious, yeah, delicious, delicious, yeah, delicious, delicious, delicious. As you can hear, it goes always like that. It never ever gets old. They always want a piece of that bread. From what she was kitchen, delicious, yeah, delicious, delicious, yeah, delicious. How's it, guys?
Good.
You like it?
Mm-hmm. It's really good. You should make it. Yeah.
They don't like any butter on theirs, but Mommy will have a little butter on hers. Just look at how beautifully it slides and glides on here. Just look at that. Well, do you even see that? I really hope you're able to try this. I know you will love it. Absolute deliciousness. You need to try this. I know you're going to love it.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I want more, please. I want more, please.
And just like that, that's how we finished one loaf the very first day. Regardless of the time you get on this plate. There you go, Wendy. Well, I hope this makes you want to try it. You are going to love it. Thanks for watching. Kindly give me that thumbs up and share. And until I come your way next time with something delicious, be loving, be kind, be happy, and cheers.